You mentioned Amazon is becoming more selective. You said it's no longer, should we say, a side hustle. It's now like a 9 to 5. It's like a job. Could you kind of tell me a bit more about that? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I don't actually know how much it's Amazon and how much it's regulators. But I guess what I was sort of alluding to is that, this year, something that we noticed, a major trend was, I guess, what they refer to in the space as Section 3 violations. So for those that are listening that don't know, Amazon has a terms of use or a terms and conditions document that all third-party sellers use or sign or agree to. And the Section 3 means that you broke one of the policies in there and they can terminate your seller account. So what we saw, and I don't know if you had experience with your partners or customers, but a lot of people in the space that were doing wholesale type businesses, arbitrage type businesses, they were having their business shut down under Section 3 because they couldn't prove where they had got their inventory from something they were doing early in their business. And they had to be very clear on their bookkeeping and their purchasing behaviors. And when you're getting into Amazon as this side hustle, you're not thinking about those things. You're just trying to get inventory, buying it, from Best Buys or buying it from, who knows. And maybe it wasn't, maybe you didn't, maintain your receipts or whatever it was. And you end up in a situation where your business gets shut down because you weren't able to validate or prove to Amazon that you were a reputable business. And I think making businesses become more bureaucratic is a way to keep out businesses from starting. The European marketplace is a really good example of that because there are so many pieces of red tape to jump through to become a seller. I think the UK does something really good, which is they, you don't have to be a VAT registered seller until you make £80,000 a year. Great. So if you wanted to start a business, you can start a business and you don't have to go through the process of becoming a VAT registered business for those first £80,000. It gives you some runway. But if you're in any of those other marketplaces, you have to do so much work from day one when you're not profitable just to be able to run a business. And so I think as regulators kick in and push pressure on Amazon to make sure that, governments are getting their fair clip from a tax perspective, from a competition perspective, then what's ended up happening is Amazon's had to tighten their control and squeezed out, whether on purpose or not, squeezed out a lot of those, mid-range sellers that are just getting to the point of scaling their business.
Interesting. You talked about it earlier, and we've talked about it off air, that kind of like mid-range seller, like we see the reduction in them. Can I ask you two questions? One, what is a mid-range seller? And then number two, what do people need to be aware of? Is like Amazon you can't do, or can you still grow it? Like, do you still see examples of people growing the businesses, and just what do they need to be aware of when they get into that mid-range seller area?
Hard question to answer, actually. I use it very sparingly when I say mid-range seller because I don't have an exact definition. I guess more so than what quantifies them in terms of how many products they sell or how much revenue they're making is how much dedication they are putting towards their cause to growing their business. So anyone can start an e-commerce business and pay the $49, I think it is, to get a seller account, and then you're just beginning, and you can list a product or two, something ungated from pet food or pet snacks as an example, and you're selling something and you're really early on there, and maybe you just stay around that point with a few SKUs, a few products. And then you try to go a bit deeper and get some approval to sell some other products and grow your business. And at this point, you're investing a lot of capital, and maybe you need a warehouse, and maybe you need or a 3PL solution or an inventory management. You start to get to bookkeeping. And so when you jump from that, I'm just giving this a go, to I'm trying to grow a business. But if you don't put in, the elbow grease to take it to that next level, I think you get stuck in this no man's land where you're not making enough money to make it sustainable, but you're not investing enough time to take it to the next level. Amazon's making it very difficult. The regulators are making it difficult. You get squeezed out. So, I guess it's medium and small businesses more so, but I think it's more about the energy and the effort that you're putting into it. And if you don't believe in it, it's really hard to do that type of stuff. And that's when you get shut down.
I completely agree. The idea, and if you look at this business model on TikTok, hey, go to Walmart, find something cheap. Here's the twice the price on Amazon. I buy and sell it. Look how easy it is to make money. That is very appealing. And also as well, in the online make money online space, a lot of it can be perceived as scammy. Like there's a worry about that. Whereas for me, being able to see something for $10 in Walmart and 20 in Amazon and saying, well, I might make $3 profit out of that. That was like, well, I can test that for a very little money down. That's very appealing. And then I can see if this is a scam or if it actually works. And obviously, once you test it, wow, this actually works.
This actually works.
Yeah, and I love that. That proof of the ability to prove the concept is so easy, and so you can get started. But is there still a future for Amazon sellers knowing that middle ground? We say, okay, I've now proved the concept. Now I've got to become, I'm growing. Now I think about I need to go serious. Is there still a future for them, or is it like, no, end of, Amazon's finished for the middle ground? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I don't think it's finished, at all. As long as there's people that want to buy goods. America is a big market. Europe is a big market. As long as people want to buy goods and people want to make money by sitting on a beach somewhere in the world and be their own boss, there will be a marketplace on Amazon. It is a reshuffling. Some people there's a bit of attrition. People are leaving the space, consolidation through, the aggregators many years back. And so there's always going to be space. It's just natural churn. If you look at Amazon, I think there was so much focus in the early days in the United States, but Europe is this massive marketplace now. They just, Amazon, they call it the expansion marketplaces. They just launched Ireland, Belgium. These are areas that don't have massive footholds. There are opportunity there. Running businesses there can be really challenging for, like the regulatory reasons we mentioned before, but there's always opportunity in Amazon, and there's definitely always opportunity in e-commerce. It's, it's just such a dynamic space, changing so regularly. There's so much sales, as an example, that are occurring right now through TikTok. It's this marketplace that they say might overtake Amazon as the premier marketplace for e-commerce globally. That's quite remarkable as a thing just to conceptualize. And so what is Amazon doing? Well, they're making a way for you to check out through TikTok using their marketplace. So you don't even know you're buying off Amazon, you're buying off TikTok, but you are buying from Amazon. So there's a lot of opportunity. You've got to keep your ear to the ground. I think be dynamic with the opportunities. Maybe you want to be a wholesaler, arbitrage online or retail. Maybe you want to go into the private label or brand ownership space, or maybe you want to do some form of drop shipping over TikTok. I'm not sure, but there's definitely opportunity. You just got to find your niche.